channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because it's a little bit of a story time, I guess. So I had my first ever smear test today, also known as a cervical screening test, and there's a lot of horror stories on the internet about smear tests and cervical screening tests and the pain that comes alongside with them. So I thought it would be interesting to do a video about my own experience of having this smear test because I myself was quite nervous after hearing other people's stories about them. Now obviously I couldn't film in the smear test, and frankly I wouldn't want to film the smear test. I would just like to say as a disclaimer, I'm obviously not a medical professional, but I will include links below, basically provide you with more information about smear tests in the UK. This is just my personal experience of smear tests, so anything I say or anything I experience, please do take with a pinch of salt. I just know that there is a lot of fear and scaremongering when it comes to smear tests and health checks and things like this, and a lot of people tend to not go for any sort of checks or tests like this unless they have a problem to start with. It's so incredibly important to get a smear test. Even if you're not having any problems, as soon as you turn 25 in the UK, you're expected to have a smear test. You get sent a letter by the NHS. I believe you get sent it when you're around 24 and a half, so you can schedule one for when you're 25 years old. And to be honest, I have put off having my smear test. I got the letter through a while back and I just have put off doing it because I just didn't want to sort of deal with the pain around it or whatever. But I was like, you know what, you just need to buy the bullet, Katie, and do it, because this is like a 2-minute experience in your life, and wouldn't you rather have this experience now and find out if there's anything wrong, and then I mean hopefully there isn't, but if there is then hopefully we can get sorted, do you know what I mean? So it just makes sense, and I would encourage you all, if you're of age, to please go get a smear test. It's very important. But anyway, let's jump into the good stuff. So as I said, you need to be 25 years old in the UK. I think you can have smear tests younger than that if obviously you're having particular problems. You also shouldn't be on your period to have a smear test. You're best off working out when your period is due and then obviously taking a smear test before or after that. So my smear test. So I had my smear test this afternoon. Before I went, I had a shower and I was making sure that, you know, my vagina was looking fresh and cute and all that stuff, which is dumb really, because obviously I know the nurse literally doesn't care what my vagina looks like. I just had a little pamper session, do you know what I mean? Like, I made sure she was looking all cute just because it made me feel a little bit better. So I went to my doctor's, and you know, I was greeted by the nurse. She brought me into the room. Obviously we were both wearing face masks, and she sat me down and she asked me a few personal questions, like when was your last period, etc, etc. Like, she just needed to know these things for the test. And then she sort of explained what was going to happen. You know, she asked me to take off my trousers, my underwear, my shoes, gave me like a little cloth thing to like cover myself a little bit for my own sort of personal comfort, I guess. And then she was like, lie on the table and put your legs up. I put my legs up on the table, and at this point I did feel quite uncomfortable because I was like, damn, like this woman is seeing everything right now. It's mad, isn't it? Like, you can hook up with random strangers in the club, but as soon as a medical professional wants to see everything down there, you're like, a little bit weird. I put my legs up and she like opened my legs, and I was like, oh, this is a weird experience. But what happens at smear tests is they get a speculum. It kind of looks like this. It kind of looks like a little crocodile. Put the speculum inside of you and it sort of like opens up like this inside. And I already knew what a speculum was, but I specifically didn't look. Like, I was like, if I look at it and if I see it, I'm gonna start freaking out about it. So I was like, I'm not gonna look. So I didn't actually see what she put inside of me because I was like, no, I'm just gonna sit here thinking positive thoughts. But apparently they also have like a little fluffy type of thing on the end, which is actually what collects the cells from your cervix, right? She put this speculum with this little fluffy thing inside of me, and she put some sort of like lubricating gel on there as well to sort of like make the process a little bit easier. However, I was nervous, and you know, your gal was tensing a little bit. Like, it was cold because of the lubricant that was on there, and so I was a little bit tense. You know, I wasn't in a comfortable environment, so I was a little bit tense, you know what I'm saying? And the woman was so nice. She was like, girl, you gotta relax, it's not gonna work unless you relax, just ease up. I was really trying to think like positive, calm thoughts. It can actually be quite difficult to sort of calm yourself down when you know you have to calm yourself down. And eventually I sort of eased up those muscles, and she was able to get obviously whatever she needed to get from the actual test. Now, a lot of people say that it's not painful and it does cause discomfort, but in my experience it actually was painful. Like, I would say it was more than discomfort. I would say it was actually a bit of pain, but that bit of pain only lasted for like 15 seconds I would say, so it's 100% worth doing. If anything's touching your cervix, it is a little bit painful anyways. A lot of people say that it's the brush at the end, the little fluffy thing at the end, that causes the pain, but for me it was actually the speculum itself. Yeah, I would say it was more than discomfort, to be honest. I did feel some pain, but it was only lasted for a short period of time, and it's so important to do. Your health and your vaginal health is incredibly important. And then after that, obviously I got up from the table and put my clothes back on, and she was like, we'll give you your results in about 4 weeks. So it usually takes between 2 to 6 weeks, and that was it. That was the whole experience. So it was literally like I walked in and then I walked straight out. It was like a 2-minute thing. As soon as we got in there, boom, straight on the table, open your legs, get your clothes back on, straight out. And that was like the whole thing, and it was really, really quick and easy. I know some women tend to get cramps or some sort of like lower abdominal pain after these tests, but I haven't had any of that pain since, and this happened about 5 hours ago, so I've not really had any issues with it yet. Obviously we hope the cells come back all clear and they're normal. So basically smear tests are just a test for whether your cells are normal or abnormal, and then if they're abnormal, obviously you can look into it and see what the problem is. So important to get yourself tested and checked out. Look, I really do know that it can be daunting and it's quite normal to feel anxious about situations like this, but it's important that you do them anyway. It's really not scary, it's just the build up that's quite scary. So once you actually get over the anxiety at the very beginning, then you shouldn't really have any problems. But yeah, that was my experience with it, and it was really, really quick and simple. If you have any further questions, feel free to obviously drop them in the comments and I can respond to them individually in case I've missed anything in this video. If you've been putting off getting your smear test, please go and book it right now. Just do it, because honestly you won't regret doing it, but you could regret not doing it. I guess this concludes our video, so thank you very much for watching. I hope it was somewhat helpful to you. If you haven't already, please go subscribe to my channel, please like this video, please leave me a comment, all the usual stuff. Thanks so much. Bye.